So I expect TCG might have a little bit of trouble here because I don't know if they're aware or not of the lane swaps, but what could come out from Picture of Duck is very random. But Orianna immediately being taken out from Hazel. I think viewers who just watched the previous game know why. And Elise being taken out. That is a ban directed at Ouya. That is his main jungler. And the Kassadin ban coming out against GG Kronk, which has been pretty much every single game. Lee Sin against Irise. Shyvana against who I think they might think it's downhill. Who has played that Shyvana. And Nasus against Devilish. Alright. I'd say these three bans against TCG are probably what should have happened in the very first game of XKP, as you saw them immediately pick those next three champions. So, good bans from Picture of a Duck. And pretty good bans from TCG. Ziggs being picked up. I think Ziggs is pretty strong right now. What do you think? Are you seeing him a lot in your play?
I don't see Ziggs that often. He's kind of quirky.
He's all over the place
He's got
in NACL.
Really high damage output and AoE burst damage utility area, but I don't know. I see him in a very similar place as Victor. I think if you can play Ziggs, he can be a really powerful weapon in your kit, but he's kind of a confusing character.
I like
overall.
the Nocturne pickup here. I don't know how strong it is for Ouya, but he's a good jungler. He's pretty easy to know, and it takes it away from Irise. And having Shyvana already banned by TCG, it's taking away his heavy farm junglers that he can become really big on and likes to carry with. And Jinx coming out from POD. I expect Lucian to be the response pick to that, honestly. I think both those champions are pretty big as the ADC pick right now.
I could see him picking up a Renekton right here, too.
Oh, there's the Olaf. There's the Korean Terror.
Olaf's incredibly powerful right now, especially in the jungle.
Which is kind of funny because he got buffed quite a while ago, and yet no one really cared until OGN came back, and Korea was like, hey, this is what's up.
I mean, I think the Season 4 helped him a lot, just the way he clears and the way he sustains in the new jungle.
Yeah, but like, OGN isn't even on Season 4 yet.
Oh yeah, they're not. I forgot.
So, like, he's even better now. Alright, Taric coming out. I like the Taric pick. I think a lot of people who are playing solo queue right now know that Taric is just a beast. His new scalings are absurd. Building I honestly only know, it's like Relic Shield, Targons, I don't remember the last thing, but that and Solari, that are amazing support items, also make his Q and W scale incredibly well.
I like the Olaf pick against the Jinx, because Jinx has no innate escapes,
Yeah,
and so there's not a lot to keep him off of her. She doesn't have an Ezreal E or a Caitlyn net to back off of him. No charms or Taric stuns are going to keep him away. And if Irise can get ahead, there's nothing going to be stopping him from taking downhill.
yeah. Sivir I like, it's a very good counter to Taric. It pretty much means as long as his spell shield is up, Taric really can't stun her unless she wants to give her free mana or they force her to blow it on something else. Shen and Renekton being hovered over.
I'm just going to ignore the Garen.
I like Shen in this situation because Olaf can be a real terror if he ghosts and ults and can get Shen anywhere he wants in a team fight. Versus Renekton, I'd see if they have like Thresh already, who's kind of tanky, can build stuff. They already have Appeal, but they do go with Renekton. So
I think Renekton's an overall better lane bully than Shen right now, and
yeah,
can get a little bit bigger.
Without having the top
engage.
pick, like Jax is up, so picking that Shen means that there's a danger there. I don't know much about Slykier's top picks outside of the fact that he loves Poppy.
Ollie Poppy.
I don't know how well Poppy fares against Renekton. I don't know that top matchup very well, but I do know that if they wanted to possibly counterplay Olaf, a Ghost Poppy kind of does the same thing. Okay, and which they
There
go
it is.
with.
I don't know how strong the Poppy is against such a strong early laner and pusher like Renekton, but
I think if he just,
she can itemize armor really
yeah,
hard.
I think if she just plays it smart and farms, she can become a bigger threat than Renekton late. But it'll be about getting to that late game. Um, I mean, basically Olaf and Poppy are going to do the exact same thing in a team fight. Just run that 80 carry, and it's going to be about which team can peel better. Unfortunately, I think it's harder to peel an Olaf than it is a Poppy. But Poppy's burst is higher, so we'll see. I think this will actually come down to the mid lane matchup. Like which mid laner is going to come out being stronger and have that bigger burst and catch potential.
I'm getting informed that Ziggs is actually really strong right now. I don't know very much about the mid lane and the
He
champion,
is. Ziggs is
but
very, very
I
strong.
haven't seen him come out too much. I've been seeing him more than usual, though.
Yeah.
Ari is also obviously still a strong pick. That good mid game roam.
Yeah, but she
The
really
jungle.
is like, especially with her like nerfs a while back. Her 100 to 0 potential is much lower, and if she really isn't roaming and getting other lanes to snowball, she's not nearly as effective. And Ziggs can do a little bit of roaming with his ult being so long range. But he has such high burst right now, and a lot of zone potential. Let's see. I'm wondering if a 2v1 could be possible here, because I just don't see Jinx, Tarek necessarily wanting to go against Sivir. Unfortunately, though, Poppy is a terrible 2v1er. Um, so I imagine they're going to go for regular lanes, which I think unfortunately gives Sivir Thresh a better advantage if they play it right, just because they're a little bit more of a threat early on.
I agree there. Tarek Jinx isn't necessarily the best 2v1 lane. Melee characters in 2v1 lanes aren't as good. Thresh obviously has a little bit more range, and Sivir has better pushing power overall. Olaf's really good at helping in a 2v1. He can go out and bring his axes and wave clear very well, and obviously Renekton's sustain and gank potential on 2 vs 1s is incredibly scary with his slice and dice to the minions.
Yeah, I think that lane matchup will really depend on which AD carry can trade better. And Jinx does have that early potential to bring out the rockets and put them on the defensive to allow her to safe farm. Jinx will scale better than Sivir in the late game, and Sivir can't quite hit as hard with her Q being nerfed recently, though her ricochet is still very, very, very strong. I'm actually surprised Poppy has flash. I didn't notice he changed that over at the last moment, and I think that's actually a really big mistake. Because in my opinion, he needed to perform the same job Olaf is doing, and you don't do that with Flash Poppy. You do that with Ghost Poppy. So I don't know if he's taking Flash to maybe be safer in lane or potentially try and kill Renekton. I don't know if that's the right move, but I don't see Poppy flashing into a team to try and get the Sivir better than just ghosting and chasing.
I think Flash and Ghosts are both good trade-offs on Poppy. I personally like Ghost better. I don't really see what the aim on that Flash is. Ghost better sticks to people with no escapes, such as the Sivir. I might take Flash against like an Ezreal, who you can't necessarily. You got to Flash after his E.
I'm being critiqued on my resolution. Apparently, I can't be a college kid and a gamer at the same time because having a poor resolution is not what the fans want, you know? They expect a higher quality of stream from me. And I've disappointed them. But what's new, really?
Ziggs is running a critical strike rune, a single crit strike red in his rune page.
That's dirty. I always liked doing that playing 80 carry because, I mean, honestly, it doesn't hurt you that much to just take like that little bit of magic pen out, and that just 1% chance to possibly land a crit in a trade just means you immediately win a trade, and that's possibly just the lane, honestly, at some levels.
Renekton is also running the single crit red.
That's a little more interesting because Renekton isn't auto attack trading as often, but why not? I mean,
Poppy didn't go very defensive in her runes. She got ability power per level and a lot of magic pen and flat ability power.
alright, so I think he's literally trying, I mean, I'd rather see a legit Poppy, but I think this is going to be more cheese Poppy. I think he's really going to try and kill Renekton in lane. I'm not going to pull up Will Nexus, but I don't know how much magic resist Renekton has. But it doesn't, I doubt he can.
Standard 12.
Yeah, so, I mean, potentially, if Poppy carefully wards and doesn't draw enough Olaf aggro, or if the jungle doesn't help enough, he could potentially bug Renekton, make him scared to farm or force him out of lane. The only trouble I see there is Poppy's mana problems, which are pretty prevalent, especially if you want to spam Q.
Looks like they're gonna take the red buff. I don't know if
I'm a little
blue
bit
side's
behind
planning
you.
to trade it. Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's your game timer?
I'm not even in.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and just keep it up so you can't see. They went for red side. Picture of a duck went for a red buff invade. It didn't get scattered out. I would have liked him to place a ward down to spot out for a 2v1, but it doesn't look like... What's their team? TCG is going to go for the 2v1. It's going to be standard lanes.
I like Zig's barrier. I think that's smart against Ari's burst, and at least he's not planning to be that up close in a fight with Ziggs. I do like seeing people pick up barrier on AP carries that are not that close in a fight.
Jinx and Tarek are going around into a stun down on a Thresh, but looks like they're just going to go back to farming. Jungles go ahead and just clear their camps. It doesn't look like...
All right, so I just got in, and I am up to 230 though, which is odd that the game is like speeding up that fast. But all right, I don't know.
I don't
Loading
think
times.
TCG knows that their red buff has been stolen yet, so it looks like Nocturne's going to be able to get 3 buffs, which will put him pretty far ahead.
Loading. All right.
Renekton's pushing out early, as well as Ziggs and Sivir, putting pressure on the lanes.
Stop.
Heads up.
Almost.
Hazel's bringing out the poke, already got the Ahri down to near half HP, but she's chugging health potions.
Yeah. My FPS is being true terror right now. I don't know what the deal is there, but I've had trouble ever since the game patched recently. But we'll
Maybe
usually
those
adjust.
visual updates to the...
Okay, I'm going to remind my friends that there is in fact a rule in the UOLCS rules that says you are not supposed to spam your friend's chat feed while they're casting. As harmless as it is, it helps to not do so.
So it looks like all lanes are content with pushing and farming right now. There's not a lot of action so far.
Yep.
I think the early lead on the buffs that Nocturne got will allow him to go back a little later and maybe pick up a bigger item. and I'd like to see him put that to good use early.
Yeah, I would like to see a Boots pick up, quite honestly, because I think he will need to be a gank presence pretty quickly, especially in the mid lane.
Ahri and Nocturne can close the gap mid lane very quickly once they both hit level 6. It's a scary thing to do, especially with an AD carry with kind of a conditional escape, or an AP carry, like Ziggs, where he has to line up his bomb jump.
Bot lane's losing a trade pretty bad.
Looks like Downhill's going to have to go back. Sivir's incredibly strong in those early level trades if she can get her Q around the minions. And obviously Thresh is just Thresh. Looks like they both went for double Targons,
Yep.
which is currently seems to be what people just do, because that item's broken.
Yeah, threshold.
Gonna get nerfed. I suppose they're just gonna use the health pots and sustain from Targons to stay in lane then, which I think is a pretty good decision. Nocturne went for a gank top, but he had it warded out with his ward trinket. Nocturne, go ahead and clear the wards. He might go back in for a second to try on it. Ahri being forced back by Ziggs. Ziggs is out of mana. I could see him pushing out the lane and going back.
Nocturne looks like he attempted to gank top. Did not work out, but he did force Renekton to back before Poppy. Poppy's got a big wave. Poppy should actually not push, but maybe see if their minions can kill the cannon. Oh, he went and killed cannon creep. In that situation, okay, it's still gonna die. You want to try, if you can freeze while they're gone, you can attempt to have their minions kill as many creeps as possible, so they lose much more from backing. Especially if
you
you're
can
a champion.
get it to the tower in time, it's good, but Poppy can't push.
Can't push that well, though. And now he needs to back, and Renekton can shove this lane, so he kind of stayed too long.
Renekton opted for the Giant's Belt, which is going to make him a pretty big immobile presence in lane. Though Poppy does have percent damage on her Q, I believe.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna try and fix the FPS for the sake of this game. Things are gonna look kind of crappy, guys, but
Nocturne is heading down towards bot lane, but he's not level 6, so I don't really know what's going to come of this. Both junglers went back and got a Spirit Stone and boots. Olaf has a health crystal on him, but less wards and pots. Sivir went back, so it looks like bot lane's going to go ahead and push out and go back.
Poppy's
So
got
pretty
Sheen immediately, so
Good timing.
except he's losing trades even with Sheen.
Renekton's early trades are incredibly difficult to win against. He got a stun into a wall, which won him that trade. That Giant's Belt from Renekton is probably going to turn into a Sunfire Escape. Blue buff going down to Ahri, which with the amount of magic damage that Poppy does, looks like Poppy went for an all-in, but Renekton's ult is incredibly powerful in those trades and barely came on top. Olaf's in their jungle. He's going to collide with Nocturne here.
I think I know what it is. I have to
Nocturne flashes, ults the Renekton.
If I close Chrome like while I'm logged into Twitch broadcasting, is it gonna take down Twitch?
No,
Okay.
it just means you're not watching your own stream.
Good.
Ziggs
Like,
roams down, picks up the
sucks
kill.
A lot of memory. I think the memory's the problem. Yep.
Ahri has to go ahead and ult out, number disadvantage. Overall, making that a 2-for-0 in favor of TCG. As well as getting a red buff steal.
Alright. Jeez. I think that was unfortunate first blood trade for Poppy. think she actually ended up taking a little bit too much minion damage.
Bot lane is go ahead and getting a big engage. Jinx ult comes out, putting down a lot of damage. Thresh tanking the tower, which turned out the trade pretty even. They both... I believe, yeah, Sivir still has her barrier up, so if they can get a fight, I could see it going in the favor of Picture of a Duck, or a TCG. Jinx has a BF sword to just the Vampiric Scepter, so a little bit less sustain, but significantly more damage. The Nocturne's going in for a gank mid lane. Hits the Q. Fear's going down. Fear goes off. Nocturne comes in for the counter gank. Ahri's a little slow to react, and everyone just backs off.
Yeah, that needed... I don't know if that was now communicating, but Ahri sat at tower for most of Nocturne's time running into lane. That actually probably could have been a kill.
She did not have her ult up. And her flash is just about to come up now. Looks like some more trades, just trading back and forth on the top lane. Poppy has her ult up, but so does Renekton. I wouldn't be surprised to see...
We're starting to see a pretty big farm deficit grow mid, and like it's up to just over 30 now, with Ziggs also getting that kill, so he roamed and Ahri hasn't, and he's still up in farm, so...
Ahri went up on that roam, too.
Oh, okay.
They both. Ziggs is a strong pusher early. Ahri is a good farmer. We got a gank going top lane. Looks like Poppy went in, escaped with very low health. Fear goes down. Renekton's got his ult on. I think he'll just be too tanky and is going to walk away from it. Ahri's going in on the Ziggs as well. Blows her ult. Looks like a similar situation. They both just trade damage.
Oh.
Nocturne comes in.
Poppy's still here. Probably not the best idea to come back.
Just not quite big enough. They all escaped with low health.
Though. I think that was... They're just taking too risky of plays right now. Poppy came back in with like less than 100 health. And she's just not big enough to quite one-shot the Renekton, who's got a Negatron Cloak and a Giant's Belt.
The sustain throughout that fight put him back too high to kill. Top lane's up, nearing in on 40 farm now as well.
You see a pretty big difference in ward coverage right now. Even with like the trinket change, you can see Picture of a Duck.
It looks like bot lane is going to go down.
All three of their ward trinkets are currently up, but all of until just now, all of TCGs are down, and they're using them to ward that the top river. Scout out Nocturne, and Poppy's kind of unaware of roams.
The new trinkets, it's going to take a while for some people to remember to use them. I forget occasionally as well.
I think my biggest awareness of this, my little public announcement for people is everyone can only place 3 wards now, which means supports can only place 3 wards and a pink ward, and they're generally getting the scanner. So people have kind of forgotten to start warding the map because supports can't, cover an entire map in wards anymore to try and carry with, vision.
Blue buff going down to Ziggs and Ahri, probably. Or Nocturne's going to pick it up. I can't quite tell yet. No, he's going to give it over to Ahri.
We're having a roam... Oh, Dragon is looking to be possibly started, or a roam bot.
We might see a fight here bot. Red side going in. Gets the stun down.
That was
the Ziggs ult comes out.
Bait from bot lane.
Blue team double kill.
You saw Sivir over it. Oh, and now Poppy's going on Renekton. This time winning. Poppy picking up Picture of Duck's first kill of the game.
They didn't quite catch it. Renekton might have taken some tower hits and overextended.
Tower was down. Poppy just
it's down already.
Him.
Dragon got picked up. by TCG after their 2 early kills.
Maybe it currently kind of looks like Ari might be kind of on a champion he's not quite comfortable with. He's having a hard time landing a lot of the skill shots. I would have actually liked to see GG Kronk's Gragas here. I think he's more practiced on it, and I think it would have helped him out to lane with a more confident champion he's more confident with.
That may be the case. Ari's a very safe laner. Generally, when you're not experienced with a champion, you can have trouble farming with them. Ari's extremely confident farming as she gets extra levels in her Q. Those early farming really takes knowledge of the champion. Red buff going to Nocturne and Olaf, respectively.
So we now see almost about a 7k gold lead coming out with that dragon and the farm scores being different.
Poppy is going in on Renekton top lane. I don't think it's an all-in though. No, it's just going to be some early trades. Nocturne's going to clear that bush for wards, but Renekton's roaming down. They're going to spot each other out. A hook lands down to Nocturne. It looks like he's going to ult away to deny them vision, go in on Ziggs, and just...
Deleted. Ziggs was deleted.
Sivir ult goes down to chase down the Taric, but it looks like they all just go ahead and escape on that one.
Picture of a Duck is currently just really split up. It was really good follow-up from TCG, and Picture of a Duck just didn't have an answer to their Nocturne getting caught out, didn't group. And they're really having a hard time fighting these guys. Oh.
Poppy gets caught, throws her flash out. Downhill's extremely low. The ult comes out, not doing a whole lot of damage. Everyone was pretty high on health. Poppy ult used, but it was used on Olaf, who burned her down pretty fast. Looks like TCG is content to go ahead and siege down the turret.
Yeah, Picture of a Duck is currently kind of making some questionable choices on these follow-ups into catches. Like, Poppy went in after Jinx was caught and tried to actually like start a fight and take out Sivir when his AD carry had already pretty much been blown up and had to leave. So they're trying to fight these matches they really can't fight, and it's just resulting in a little, one kill trades, which have slowly, led up to a 9-1 kill score. And sometimes it's just like, a lot of the time teams just have a difficult time adapting to like letting someone die, or simply using a CC to kind of push a team away and then running away. A lot of the time people really want to fight.
Ziggs is putting the poke down to Ari extremely low. His ult is not quite up. Nocturne goes in on him, but it looks like ultimately the Ziggs is very large, has to back out, picks up the kill. His ult comes back up, double kill for Ziggs. Down goes Ari, and I imagine as well this mid turret.
Let's put Ziggs at 8-0. There's just a
Poppy's
pretty
hiding around the
damage.
back, but a ward spots her out. Thresh catches her, and looks like she's also going to go ahead and go down. Not having her ult or flash up, she's at it right on top of a ward.
Misses. This is unfortunate. Ziggs is just big. Like, you see the ward pressure is just catching these people out, and maybe it's just it's kind of different now with this patch. I have noticed it's really difficult.
Taric going in for the flash stun on Ziggs. Looks like Ziggs is going ahead and bomb jump out. It's interesting they're fighting. Jinx is still bottom. Nocturne ult comes out. Renekton ult comes out. He's so big. Just takes the tower shots. Ari's going to come out alive, but the inhibitor tower is going to go down.
Wow, Olaf has been split pushing this whole time. He hasn't even been part of these fights.
Ari goes extremely low. Looks like Sivir's going to go ahead and pick her up.
And
Out
Poppy
comes
just
a
decided
Poppy ult
to
on the
assist
patch.
Sivir. Poppy was saying, "Hey, Sivir, girl, I know you want it. Let me help you out. Let me help you, girl.
Sivir goes down
I
low,
know you hungry."
but they simply don't have the numbers with one of their members still being down. They did manage to save the inhibitor, but I imagine that's going to go down on a secondary push here in a moment.
So it's now 13k gold lean at 15-1. I think at this point, if Picture Duck really wants to mount a comeback, they need to start turtling. They need to get a couple wards up if they can, and they really got to look for TCG to just make a huge out of position play. Sometimes these teams with massive kill scores can get a little cocky or start playing around and get caught out of position. Otherwise, I think it's gonna be almost impossible for Picture Duck to come back if TCG just keeps up the careful play.
TCG's been playing very disciplined. They're grouping, they're not making bad dives, they're not getting caught out, they have good ward coverage, and I think they're going to press their advantage. Tarek's down here clearing out a pink ward at Dragon, but 5 hits is a lot of time, and he might get caught out. I can see a Several coming out.
Yeah, when I first saw it, the 3 to 5, I was like, 5 is still, it's not that much, until I actually played, then I realized it was quite a bit of time. Oh. Yep.
Well, Ari goes in, but ultimately gets caught out. Their team's just too split. The Nocturne goes down solo to the Renekton, and they just steamroll right over them.
We're just looking at a team that is refusing to turtle right now, who is extended out to Dragon. Oh, Poppy.
Ult goes down on Ziggs. Looks like she might be able to... No. Yeah, okay, Poppy picks up the kill on Ziggs, gets a huge shutdown, but trades her life for it. And it looks like they're just going to go straight for this inhibitor.
Worth. Always worth.
Always worth.
Theoretically, a 500 gold shutdown for the 1-4 Poppy was still probably worth, but they can't defend the inhibitor.
Picture of a Duck doesn't have a fantastic turtling team. Things like Poppy is not a very good turtler. Nocturne's okay with his wave clear, but he likes to go all in. And the diving team is really strong with Olaf.
Rockets.
REQ.
Yeah. Picture of a Duck really picked a team where they needed to have early game presence. And denied even with the rocket. They needed to have early game presence. They needed to keep their wards up. Nocturne had the chance, having essentially 3 buffs to 1 in the jungle, and he really didn't make anything of it. Ooh. Here comes the chase. Gator's on the hunt.
It's gonna go save some lives in the
I
river.
gotta say, if I was being chased down by a Viking and an alligator, I'd be a little bit scared out of my freaking mind.
Poppy gets caught out, goes down very quickly. It doesn't even look like the tankier members of their team are tanky enough to withstand anything.
He's a crocodile. I am never going to remember that he's what
Here comes the dive.
Oh,
Axe lands. Jinx is going to go down.
Oh, Lord. Ow.
They have minions. They're going to probably go ahead and just take down this top tower, then the top inhibitor.
Now, Austin, did you know you can tell a crocodile from an alligator by its snout?
I did know that, but
I
watched a lot of Crocodile Hunter as a kid, so...
Animal Planet. Oh, Miss Steve Irwin. Alright. Tarek barely surviving. This is... Ow.
Looks like Poppy got in the backline and was able to assassinate the Ziggs, but I don't see her.
Yeah, I think at this point, Picture Duck is just trying to get any sort of kill they can get. The
chase is on. TCG is kind of on the ropes here, but I think they're able to get out. Poppy digs out the Olaf. A nice concession kill there. Poppy has most of the kills in gold for...
I think at this point, it's just this team's effort is to let Poppy go even. Like, that's the mission at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Might as well let Poppy get that KDA.
Looks like Jinx is going for the static Shiv, which is helpful for the wave clear, but with 2 inhibitors down, it's less important. I'd like to see TCG go ahead and just pick up a nice safe Baron, as they have ward control and map control.
Yeah. And we see that they're just so big. I mean, like, even now with the new gold changes, that Thresh has a frozen heart, which means Nocturne, Poppy, and Jinx are hitting way slower.
Frozen Heart's not terribly strong against the Poppy, considering her auto reset on her Q being her main source of burst damage. But
unfortunately, with a Poppy that has only Triforce, who went with AP runes and Magic Pen and went.
Renekton might be caught out a little bit here, but I just don't think they quite have the follow-up to take down someone as tanky as their Renekton. Yeah. Nocturne's going to go in for the steal. They're going to go ahead and just back off the Baron. A smart decision.
Oh, smart. They just stopped the DPS on it completely.
Easy Baron coming out. Here comes the Olaf chasing him down, unable to be slowed by the Zap, unable to be feared by the Nocturne Fear. The Zigzag doing amazing damage. He's so incredibly big right now, and the Sivir just allowing them to chase them down. Ahri lands a charm onto Sivir. Her and Nocturne will escape, but not in time to save this inhibitor.
Purple team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
I think they can just end this push. There's too many members down. I think looking at game 2, Picture of a Duck really needs to rethink their strategy and how they're going to play it, because I think picks and bans went fine for them. I think those were great champions to take out. I wouldn't want TPU to have those either. So it's really about their own picks and how they're going to play this early game, because I think they played it far too aggressive in the top lane in a matchup that didn't really seem to work that well. And,
I think they got outpicked a little bit. Their comp was a little bit scattered.
Yeah.
In terms of champions. It wasn't necessarily terrible. I don't know how strong Tarek is, but with
Tarek
the
is
gold
very
he
strong
gets
right now, but they picked a very dive-oriented comp. And
with
didn't
an
really get
immobile
the early
carry
game
like
advantages
Jace,
that those kind of comps
Jinx.
need.
I mean, I think the second game could go either way. Obviously, a very strong showing by TCG game 1. A lot of easy, disciplined play coming out. We'll see what happens on this second game. I want to see a Renekton pickup now that they have first pick. But I don't know if... I need to go spectator.
Yeah, I'm not...
It's like here, yeah. I was like,
don't know what
Kokono
he
Irin
really
doesn't play Renekton, but
plays besides Poppy, which...
I think that I wanted to see some new meta stuff while Targon's is still OP. I think a lot of these games you can win by finding the new dumbest strategy and trying to pull off a 2-top with no jungler. But
yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, honestly, at this point, you can't really call any new strategy cheese because it literally could be the next meta. So
that's
I'd like
fair.
to see some innovation from our players.
I mean, it's also... It looks like, besides Broken Double Relic, they're just going to go ahead and go for standard comps.
Boom. Man, I have a lot of flashy things going on.
Despite being down an early buff that game, iRise has, and throughout this tournament, been very dominant in the jungle. And so I want to see them try and shut him down a little bit.
Alright, we're ready, I think. Let's go to game 2. I'd like to just see maybe a carefuler pick phase from Picture of a Duck. Let's see them try and really come together as a comp. I think maybe right now it just might be the team not having a lot of practice in their new positions, so they really don't know what they can put together yet. But we'll see if they can come together and perhaps put up a stronger fight this time. In all honesty, though, I do think the same bands should come out. At least.
Yeah, I mean, those were solid bands. Oriana's extremely strong. iRise has displayed incredible Lee Sin play throughout this whole championship series. Let's go ahead and see what comes out.
They could potentially not ban Lee Sin if they want to first pick it. Oh, Poppy ban coming out. Alright, alright. I'm ready to see the next top laner it's like here.
And honestly, they might just switch up the roles again. I could see it happening. They did that against us on our game against them. They went in the Poppy top, switching downhill to jungle.
Yeah, and they did have a lot of success with him on Lee Sin for a while. They kind of lost their lead, unfortunately, with just not having as good a coordination. Alright. So, same bands except Poppy instead of Shyvana. I think they now realize that downhill is not top.
Yeah, he does play Shyvana top. I forgot that.
You get first pick. I wouldn't mind seeing an Annie first pick. I think she's a ridiculously strong support right now. I know Bargo Shark picks it. It's a very good first pick. Doesn't give much away now that Annie is pretty much known to be a support. It's actually unorthodox if she's going to be the mid laner, at least right now in the current meta. And she's so dominant with the gold income. So I'd like to see that bot line. Maybe Annie Lucian if they can get it. But I think we could see Lucian picked up by either team in this game. Did a pick come out? Okay. Oof. And the Ziggs again, and I think that's probably going to be Shyvana jungle. At least to my knowledge, I know iRise plays that and likes it. But it could be top.
I would more likely see it jungle than top.
I would really like to see Annie Lucian come out. I know both players are practiced on the champions and know that lane. It's a very, very strong dominant lane right now. But we'll see.
Annie is unbelievably powerful. Teemo locked in. Confirmed.
Alright. That was, yeah.
What?
That was an accident. I don't think someone could do something.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm confused.
I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if Teemo was a real pick or if he was trolling his team and his team got upset with him.
I have no idea.
Honestly, I know the guy. That might just be his personality to troll. What? Oh, Yuya, okay. Yuya did in fact, that was a weird DC. It just instantly picked him a champion when it hit 0, so he did want that Nocturne.
What did he pick before?
It just gave him Aatrox.
Okay. Because I had never seen either of them play Aatrox. I imagine this is going to be a Shyvana jungle. I think Shyvana jungle is very strong right now. The free stats she gets with her ultimate is ridiculous.
I'm excited for the bull. I want them to get the horns.
I am too. I want to see it top and just go Blade of the Rune King Randuin's, but I don't see it happening.
I think Alistar is going to be the next sleeper support right now. I think giving Alistar even more tank items. Oh, Justin, you tease. God. Like a dancer on a pole, you tease. Laro Shark, back in the day, was known to be an Alistar main. Rocking the cowboy bull. And he's not going to give us a treat. He doesn't want to let the rodeo out. But Fiddlesticks is currently a very strong support, even more so now. Just like Annie, the fact that they can buy AP and scale in the late game and do a lot of damage. Fiddlesticks' fear being
balanced.
Easily. They haven't said anything yet, and I want to ride solo queue with it as long as possible. But that 3-second fear is just... It's kind of one of the few remnants of early League of Legends. You know, back to when, Cho'Gath had a 4-second AoE silence. It's kind of like
fun.
that. Morgana's 2-second on each stun, on each end, all that kind of huge stuff. The 3-second fear is kind of one of the last remaining tidbits of that era.
We got the Nami pick coming out. I know Calvini plays Nami, and Nami is incredibly strong right now, especially with the way they changed her stuff.
That Nami. I think she got hurt a lot less than some of the other supports that got changes. Not necessarily that all the supports got nerfed, but a lot of them took pretty big early game hits, and it's very noticeable, so they're not being as popular. Like, for one, I know Lulu was pretty popular for her early game dominance and push, and because they scaled that early game down with damage on Glitter Lance and stuff, she just doesn't feel as impactful.
Wukong? Too strong Wukong? Improve your skills. They're here.
I like it. I like Cleanse coming out. Oh my god.
What?
People. Come on.
Riot. I'm blaming Riot. It's easier.
Oh no. Oh no. This is going to be a full restart because I think the guy lagged out because everyone's accepted. Oh no. Oh, thank god. Okay. Let's do this.
And just
Come on.
switch
Quick
to blind
picks.
pick.
Don't even... Well, I guess we just get to wait a long time and debate what that final last pick is going to be. It's probably the top pick against Wukong. Maybe they told them what their last pick was going to be, because I wouldn't have thrown random bans in just in case. I don't know if the last top pick was going to be Galio or Gangplank, but...
I want to see a Galio this tournament. The champion's fantastically terrible.
I don't know. I think Galio is going to pop back up pretty soon.
I don't. Unless he gets a rework.
I don't know. I mean, there were those videos a while back of the OGM player just pub stomping on Galio.
I don't know. The Koreans see this game in a different way, so can't tell.
Perfect. Okay, we got our lineup. Was Renekton?
Yeah, Renekton's a pretty common pick I've seen on Devilish play. It's a strong pick top lane. Especially strong versus Wukong, has the strong early game to match his, and just will build Sunfire Cape right off. Almost guaranteed.
Yep.
You were talking about GG Kronk's Gragas earlier. You think that's a strong pick coming out for him?
I think this is a much better pick for him coming out. And I think with Olaf being out of the picture, honestly, I'm surprised Olaf wasn't picked back up again. But with Olaf out of the picture, Gragas' disengage is very, very strong, like just being able to barrel out Shyvana and Renekton if they need it, or possibly barrel people into them where Fiddle can ult safely and not be CC'd. I think we could potentially see a lot of really strong AoE combos coming out. Alright, we got our 3 minutes. Okay. I think I like Picture of a Duck's team much better this game.
Really?
Except I still don't like the Nocturne because I don't think they do well yet with dives. They don't seem coordinated enough, and they seem to let themselves go too ham and kind of just end up not losing something and not being able to make up for it later on.
I like the way TCG's team looks. Obviously, Jinx is a very high damage AD carry, and having someone with multiple CCs and abilities like Nami is superior appealing than to such as the Taric of last game.
Yeah,
they have a lot of
very good
disruption
peel.
in the back line and safety on the Ziggs.
Yeah, they've got very, very, very good peel, which is why I don't like Nocturne, because Nocturne is pretty much all dive oriented, and I don't think Picture of a Duck should be diving this game. I think they should be focusing on their lane phase, getting their farm up, and then looking to force a fight where TCG needs to initiate onto them, which is very, very unsafe, with Gragas being able to disperse the team and then Fiddlesticks being able to keep them dispersed and CC the people who are squishy and up in their face, while Wukong does the same. So this will depend on how well they can do in laning phase, and how well they can really coordinate their team fights and restrain themselves. I think it's going to be a very, very key factor in this game. Restraint is something that is a skill not commonly applied to people's play, but is something very, very important when playing at a high skill level. You really can't go ham all the time, and sometimes a little bit of restraint can easily cause you to win a fight. Well, honestly, we'll have to see Nocturne. Hopefully, it's going to be if Nocturne can get early ganks off, or just have a better gank early game than Shyvana. It's going to be a really important factor, because though Nocturne can farm very fast too, I don't know if he wants to choose to make it a farm off between him and Shyvana, because Shyvana can farm even better.
I would not make a farm off between Shyvana and Nocturne.
Irise really knows how to play farm jungling. I honestly expect him to just farm jungle, because I don't think, unless we noticeably see it quickly, that any of his lanes would have too big of a problem. With bot lane having the sustain and disengage of Nami, and Ziggs being pretty manageable by himself, I think he's very confident in that matchup, and Renekton being pretty difficult to kill for Wukong.
It's pretty hard to shut down a Ziggs, considering the range and damage on his bouncing bombs, whatever the actual name of that is.
I think you're pretty close.
So they're the leapfrog explosives.
I'd like to see bot lane take an initiative to try, from Picture of a Duck, to really try and be a big factor in this game. I think if they are good with trades and can maybe hit 6 before them, Fiddlesticks can ult in and fear that Nami, because Jinx has cleanse, and that should be 100% a kill from that bot lane. There's really nothing that they could do if they can get the level 6 first, and just quickly get that kill. Unfortunately, without the sustain, they might get out-pushed if they don't trade well enough. And if Fiddlesticks doesn't keep up bush pressure. Alright, I'm in.
I am also almost in.
I beat someone into the game?
I
That's
left
totally new
the
for me.
stream open, and that makes me load in really slow. I think I load in slower when I'm alt-tabbed, too.
Alright, we see pings from both teams coming out to top river. I think blue team was looking to potentially ward it, but they're not grouping up nearly as fast. They're kind of looking to protect against an invade. Meanwhile,
Red's gonna go
team,
ahead and invade.
Yeah, red is preparing to invade that red. And if Nocturne is not fast here, a Nami bubble could just seal his fate.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
See if he selected a skill yet. He has not, so he can emergency hit that spell shield.
Which he should. Okay, we see the same trinket start. We see the same top lane start, same jungle start. Gragas has gone Crystalline Flask instead of Doran's. I disagree with that. I think Gragas has enough sustain with his passive that a Doran's and 2 potions should be fine. especially when Doran's so core for Gragas.
I think that was actually probably a better decision considering how hard Hazelall pushed in and pressured last game. It'll offer them that little bit more sustain and wave clear as
Here they
Gragas
come
starts to
in.
ramp up into levels. The Nocturne backs off towards his red. Here comes... They don't see it.
3v4. Bubbles missed.
Whiffed bubble, whiffed traps, and looks like they'll just pick up the red. Yeah.
That potentially could have been a decent fight for Picture of a Duck, but Gragas didn't come down. There was no response from the mid lane.
Right
Just
away.
All their CC.
The level 1 gank. Put down a little bit of poke there as he rotates towards his own red buff. Or Wraiths, one of the two. Nocturne opting to just go to his blue buff. I like the decision by Shyvana to go over towards her red, because it stops Nocturne from stealing it if she just goes ahead and does it, because that's a pretty natural extension if you want to even the buffs back out. Renekton pushing early.
Blue.
There's some action bot lane. Fiddle gets hit by a bubble. Cleanse goes out from Jinx. I'm not really sure what she cleansed. Maybe it was a Fiddle Sphere. But Picture of a Duck actually winning that trade pretty hard. Though
I feel like
Lucian
it
is
would've been too late
completely
for
out
it.
of mana.
Might have been too late for a fear. It might have been the silence from Dark Wind, or it might have just been a fat finger, honestly. She didn't seem like she was in danger.
I don't know.
There we go.
Pushing out top lane.
Uh-oh,
Ekton.
uh-oh. There goes the
Fiddles
top.
goes extremely low. But
I think
they're
this is
pushing
actually,
hard.
Despite the trading kind of being in favor for the AD carry against the support, Fiddlesticks chose to go multiple wards instead of the one ward and a couple biscuits, which he actually didn't spec for biscuits even, which is a very strong support mastery right now. So Nami can actually have sustain, and they already sent them back because he couldn't heal up.
Biscuits.
Exactly. But this now means that that strategy I was talking about, them hitting level 6 first, it's going to be really hard. Nocturne just putting damage on his Ziggs. Again, Gragas just kind of sitting back. Not communicating these ganks very well. I mean, if he's just coming in to get some damage, like, there's still nothing wrong with Gragas throwing a barrel and getting even just that little bit more damage. That's not going to put Gragas in danger.
Ziggs backed first, picked up a second Doran's Blade and boots. Pretty standard. Those Doran's Blade give him good mana regen when pushing the wave, boots, standard mobility. Nothing shocking
ring.
coming out there.
The 2 rings to rule them all.
Oh yeah.
Lord of the Rings was wrong, you know. Tolkien forgot his own lore. There were actually 2 rings the whole time.
We got both bot laners have gone back. It looks like Jinx just opted for a longsword to the Doran's Blade of Lucian, which will give him a little bit, and he got a bunch of pots, which will give him a little bit more pressure in the
nice
lane.
flash coming out from Gragas. Kind of nulls the flash from the Ziggs, but it will send him back.
And this is what Hazelall has just been doing. He's been harassing and pushing and forcing the people back, slowly accruing a CS lead. He's already
He's
up.
got a big CS lead again,
19.
and honestly, it just shouldn't be that big in this matchup. Like, yes, it is melee to ranged, and Ziggs has great poke, but I think there needs to be a little bit of work from Picture of a Duck's mid laner to just dodge bombs and be confident enough to go out and CS a little bit more. Because as long as you're walking around a lot, you can, you know, easily dodge a skill shot or bait it out in the wrong direction.
Shyvana's around behind. Looks like she's going to steal the big golem. And she's going to go in for a gank. So we're going to see some action here in the bottom lane. No wards spotting her out. Zap lands. Bubble misses. They're just going to back out.
First,
Oh, meanwhile,
Renekton goes for a dive top lane.
it's very, very close, but I think Wukong had just been constantly losing trades because Renekton was just tankier and could take the damage Wukong had, and eventually just barely lost out for Wukong.
Another gank coming out mid lane. Irai is putting down some serious damage, but it looks like he's gonna make it out by the skin of his teeth.
Oh, Yuya going in and just giving up free health.
Shyvana is getting close to 6, where Nocturne has just hit 5, so she's significantly ahead of him in the jungle. Despite being pushed most of the game, the
Gragas
Jinx
is 6,
is
though.
out farming.
Ooh.
Might see a fight here.
Gragas has
He's gonna ult.
Oh,
Not enough damage. I think he misjudged that a little bit. She has hit 6.
that was really unfortunate. He really missed his opportunity. They didn't realize he was still there, and Gragas had the opportunity to E into that fight really quick since he hit 6 and ult Shyvana back and get an easy barrel off for the kill. And maybe he just didn't remember the range well enough or wasn't confident that he wanted to fight that with Oyuya so low. But she was so low, it was a quick combo probably could have finished her and they could have backed out.
This game so far has been fairly reminiscent of the last game, a very slow, disciplined early game by TCG, where every lane is just out farming. Bot lane is doing slightly better for Picture of a Duck, but they're not getting much of an advantage despite pushing constantly. And as we see Shyvana get 6, she could punish them with ganks.
This is their game to step up. Unfortunately, the bot lane for TCG has gone double Targons now. They've upgraded their relic shields. So they have 175 health versus the 50 from relic. So they're both considerably tanky and getting more gold from those stacks. And the sustain from the stacks too. It does heal you a little bit.
We might see an engage bot lane while they're both 6. Gragas picking up blue buff, but it looks like they're just going to go back instead. I want to see, because they have gone double Targon's Brace, I want to see Picture of a Duck go ahead and take that tower as soon as possible, and then transfer to mid lane and kind of end laning phase a little bit. Shyvana's around behind them, but she's alone.
A reward. Shyvana and Ziggs are just
Ult comes out.
They own that red jungle. There's really no control there, no wards.
Renekton ults going in on the Nocturne top, but looks like ultimately he can't get anything done.
Flash, though, at a Nocturne. Nocturne is just... He's got the strangest... He's like trying to 1v1 these lane champions that have levels on him instead of like, you know, ganking essentially. He's walking into lane after his laners can't fight or don't want to fight or something, and he's just trying to 1v1 a champion to get damage, and he's now losing considerably because his level is much lower.
Nocturne's about a third of the way through his level 7, where Shyvana is almost to level 8.
With 20 farm on him now.
All lanes are getting out farmed here except for bot lane. And I know Lucian is very strong early, as well as Fiddles can be scary now that he's 6.
What Nocturne should do right now is Nocturne...
Bubble hits on Lucian.
Nocturne needs to come bot right now. That needs to be the lane to get spiraled out of control in favor of Picture of a Duck, because this is the lane that is closest to be able to fight. They want their AD carry to get big. It would also give them the chance to get dragon control.
Nocturne's heading down bot. Comes out the Nami ult. Bubble lands on Fiddlesticks. Ziggs ult comes out. Jinx ult misses. Lucian stays alive.
From Lucian to dodge to the rocket, because he probably would have died with rocket and bomb.
Shyvana is now down here too. I think she's gonna... They might be looking to dive this, because they're all pretty significantly stronger.
Gragas is not following. Gragas just now is starting to come down, and he wasn't pushing mid. Now he's going back. He's wasted a lot of time, and he's not going to be able to punish this 4v3 down here. It could potentially result in a deadly tower dive. Ults are down now.
I think it's going to come right there.
Oh,
Yeah, we got the
Oh, God.
the bubble into the satchel charge.
Good great teleport from Wukong.
Wukong has teleport.
Good barrier from Lucian to block the zap. Double kill.
Wukong's cleaning
Back
up
off,
pretty
back
well,
off.
but I think Ziggs is just
Yeah,
a
dodge
little
bomb here.
big.
That was a
If he would have
great teleport.
split his auto attack, I think if he would have been able to auto attack the Wukong. Gragas finally
Holy.
makes his way down there, throwing down the ultimate for the execute. No, that wasn't an
That's just the
ultimate.
barrel. It's just the barrel.
It looked like an
But
ultimate.
That was good. He finally came down. This is what they needed. Unfortunately, they're gonna lose top for this, and they just didn't have the health to get Dragon, and that would have been an okay trade. But it was a good teleport. That was really poor tower aggro juggling from TCG. Shyvana had the opportunity to just ult in and W damage E and get out, and she just stayed under tower for like 4 shots and basically just died from taking so many tower shots when she had the opportunity to leave and then walk back in. That could have been much cleaner for TCG, and probably couldn't have responded had they been quicker about it.
Lucian camp in the brush bot lane, along with Gragas. They might be trying to pull something cheeky off here.
Fiddlesticks is trying to kill this pink ward and might get caught out really badly.
Bubble hits, zap misses, traps block off the escape.
Graga's still here though.
The Gragas ult splits him up, along with the culling,
Lucian.
taking down the
Alright.
Jinx. Trading 1 for 1, 80 carry for support. Not a bad trade overall. Nocturne still has his ultimate up against a very low Nami who's a little bit split off the team. Top laners have both rotated mid, but Renekton is pretty big at this point. Looks like he's going to be content with just getting some free damage on the tower and backing off. But the Nocturne ult comes in, Wukong ult comes in, kind of stacking the CC up a little bit, not able to finish him off.
Renekton though was
too
so
much.
tanky. Just ulted and knocked out fine.
Renekton's going to go in, stun on the Nocturne. Nocturne taking tower aggro. The tower going to take him down with the help of his Ziggs ult, and the Renekton coming out.
Gragas decided to throw no damage into that either.
No worse for wear. We got a fight going down bottom lane. Lucian getting poked down quite a bit. Super Mega Death Rocket is not up. Here comes the Fiddles ult
nice
though,
Fiddle ult.
taking down the Nami.
I think that probably caught Calvini by surprise. They'd blown all their CC and just weren't expecting Fiddlesticks to ult right in lane. But very good job from
That
Barbershard.
minion giving them some vision.
Oh, don't fight this, don't
Oh,
fight.
here comes the Shyvana gank. They're actually going to take down the Jinx. And Shyvana... Does she have buffs? I can't tell. No, she does not have any buffs, but she chases down the Lucian. And will possibly chase down... No, gives up on the Fiddlesticks. Nocturne, go ahead and just going to pick up red.
Still a 2-for-1 though.
Wukong has battered down this Renekton currently in the top lane. And he's starting to push out. Do you see a blue glow on Wukong's staff, or is that me?
No, I see it.
Is that a skin thing?
I have no idea.
It looks like a Iceborne Gauntlet proc, but he
I think
doesn't
that
have
might
that
be
item.
The attack speed buff, maybe, that you get? It's like, I don't know what that indicates.
He's got no buffs on him.
I have no idea, Wukong.
Takes a tower hit, goes into his ghost, goes back in. She clears the wave. Picture Duck clears out a ward on Dragon.
Duck has excellent ward control down here now. They really could potentially make a move for Dragon if they can catch someone out. Nocturne though going to probably just get blue for Gragas. Maybe they're waiting for Wukong's teleport.
Another
It is
fight
almost
top lane.
up.
There comes the Renekton ult. Wukong does not quite look healthy enough to win the fight. He ults, backs out. Ignite coming down, Zigzult coming in, barely misses, and he gets out with a fraction of health. Here comes the Nocturnal to
Less
follow
than
up,
30 to be exact.
but I don't know how much he can do. That
Gragas-
slice and dice just getting out so quickly.
Again,
Ziggs is
Gragas
coming
has
down.
ult and it's just not... There we go.
There goes the tower dive, there goes the takedown. See if Ziggs can pick anything up on top of this.
Ooh, I'm
Down
gonna do
goes
it.
Nocturne, double buff Ziggs.
And bot
Just
lane is
gonna
getting ganked.
Auto attack and poke down. Shyvana goes into bot lane. Bubble lands on downhill. He gets taken down. Zap lands on Fiddlesticks, but he's gonna get out.
Wukong saving Gragas' life with the teleport back in.
I am
A lot happened.
action going on both ends of the map. It looks like TCG capitalized on that gank. Go ahead and get Dragon. Gragas goes in there on the Ziggs. Ziggs is forced to flash out. Tower dive by
There we
Wukong,
go.
and a good kill pickup there. I think they're going to get some damage on this tower. They might take it down, but I think Renekton's going to make it in time. I don't think
Turbo
they...
Duck is really picking up their play here. Making smart, better play choices. But he's staying too long. He might get the tower, though.
No. Renekton clears the wave out. He has to back off. Renekton has the damage
put
put
down
down.
the tower at this point.
Trades his life for almost the tower. While Shyvana pushes down mid lane.
As I was saying, they were making better, safer choices.
Blue team's turret has
Yeah,
been
Shyvana goes ahead and gets down that tower. I don't think Nocturne is quite big enough to battle this Shyvana, so he just backs on out. Here comes the bot lane. Looks like they went aggressive. Probably landed a bubble. Just go ahead and take down the Lucian. The bot lane has
Nocturne
got...
right now looking like he belongs on a certain baseball team part of our league, as he is just trying to 1v1 literally everyone in this game. And I don't think that's really working out.
Baseball is a team sport. Renekton already up almost 60 farm, a similar amount on the jungle, a slightly less large deficit in farm on the mid lanes, but still a good 25 CS. And the
Gragas
bot
is-
lanes are even.
Gragas has caught up a little bit, and Gragas did finally make some really good roam choices after kind of staying for a while.
That new Wraith Camp being utilized by Renekton. Able to dash over that wall, pretty
The
easy
white
pickup.
camp.
What did I say? New Wraith Camp? Whoops.
All
I meant
about the
jungle.
white, dude.
Stealthing out. Here
Right,
comes...
just trying to use every word or noun that is not ghost, but is ghost.
Poltergeist Camp comes next. It's in the middle of mid lane. Renekton goes in on the Wukong clone, getting some serious damage into it. Here comes Ziggs. A bunch of poke. Going for the Athenes again. He's not quite as far ahead, so he doesn't quite have as much damage as last game, but it keeps a constant barrage of...
Looks like bot tower should go down. Oh, and Jinx. The Nami ult barely missing. Cleanse being blown from...
Fiddlesticks ult 2. Ziggs is rotating down. He's going to
Shyvana's
run
going for a
into
gank.
Gragas right now. Comes out of the ult. Super Mega Death Rocket misses. Fear comes down on Ziggs, though. Gragas is there with his ult. His ult splits the team apart,
ult
and
from
Ziggs
Gragas.
falls. They're kiting back the Shyvana. Dark Wind silencing them both. The Lucian flashes over and executes the Jinx.
This has been very good kiting coming out. No. Bad camera.
Looks like
Unfortunately, Shyvana's probably
Shyvana's
out.
going to make it out of that. Renekton is going to
Maybe
go
they
ahead
should
and go
push
back.
mid right here. They should not chase this. They need to push mid. Okay. They got to get something off of free, 2 kills on the carries. Nocturne going to back, though.
Renekton's picked up his Sunfire cape now.
Wukong does have teleport up again, too. He's gone with those early distortion boots, really reducing the cooldown. He's also gone for 3 cloth armors.
a lot of cloth armors. That Renekton
it does
early
help
is
that their
very
team is
scary.
mostly physical damage. I'm sure one of those is going to be a Warden's Mail.
Shyvana does a lot of magic damage with her E, though, and her W.
Yeah.
And her ult does some magic damage when you throw it out.
Alright, so we're now even in towers. The gold game is closer, and the kill score is still in favor of Picture of a Duck.
TCG's farm lead is keeping the edge in gold. And they're
Some
dragon
really good
control.
counter ganks coming out from Picture of a Duck.
This is a much closer game. Poking down the tower. The Ziggs poke really damaging the Nocturne, showing how scary and strong that champion can be during this stage in the game. Wukong going back up to deal with the Renekton, choosing to just go ahead and split push. Nami and Shyvana clearing wards out.
If they can get a good Grog Assault, this should be their time to fight, because Wukong can teleport in, and Renekton's not going to make it there in time. And
The Lucian is currently back, though, so they're going to want to wait for him to show back up.
Renekton picked up a Phage. They are strangling them for ward pressure, though, and Gragas has gone top. I don't think that was the right call. Oop.
Comes out,
Using ult to wave there.
culling the dive by Shyvana, but she missed. Looks like she went a little hard there. The Wukong
Good
teleports
teleport
in,
from Wukong
catching out
and
the
the fear
Ziggs.
from Largo Shark to stop that fallout from Ziggs. They should now push mid, although Wukong is trying to protect the tower.
Still very large. Oh, he got the stun down. But he's just going to let the Wukong walk on and out.
Picture
Not
Mark is playing this exactly how they need to play it. They are waiting for these engagements that are ending up just not being in the favor of TCG. Shyvana is getting far too antsy and making dives that are not helpful to her team. They've cost Ziggs and Jinx their lives quite a few times because they can just separate the team so well.
She wanted to catch out the Nocturne, but the Nocturne flashed away from her
Also,
ult.
Nocturne's getting fairly tanky. Looks like he'll have Solari soon, leaving Fiddlesticks maybe to build more damage.
Shyvana and Renekton both opting for damage items. Renekton getting Brutalizer and Tiamat, and Shyvana having the Ravenous Hydra. So they're not quite as big and tower tanky, but their damage is insane.
Unfortunately, they gave up a free dragon. They need to establish their
Shyvana
ward
ult
pressure
comes
again.
out. Gragas ult for the disengage. Looks like Gragas is just going to go ahead and run away from this one. Nami is caught out a little bit by the Nocturne, but I don't think he's
They're
going to be
leaving
able to
Lucian
do
alone,
anything.
though.
The Lucian 1v1 on the Jinx. Winning that trade fairly hard. Here comes the Shyvana. Singled out. The Ziggs ult doing good damage, but not enough. Their just team is too split. And they're letting Picture of a Duck cut him down. Flash comes out by Renekton, finishing off the Lucian. Renekton
This is the
coming
battle of which top laner can kill the enemy champions faster. And that went to
It
Wukong.
appears that the trade overall was a 1-for-3 in favor of Picture of a Duck.
Once again, they're winning teams because they are letting TCG make these brandish engages that are not paying off for them. Like,
No objectives, though.
They
They
split
were
up so far. Shyvana was nowhere to be found around the Ziggs or the when he needed it, and he was just everyone's out of position. And as funny as it was, like Picture Duck was pretty out of position too, and that fight was just kind of which team got their stuff together faster.
Lucian is a fairly mobile AD carry with his dash, and it allows him to reposition. And this being split up is not very good for something like Jinx, who can get focused down a little bit harder.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Renekton though keeping tower pressure up. Wukong's pretty scary. The Wukong's sitting 6-2.
Yet he's still down nearly 2,000 gold. That 1,700 gold.
Yeah,
He's down
Renekton
700.
Renekton just built Wow, Renekton in one buy bought Ravenous Hydra and Black Cleaver.
That is a
But-
huge buy. He fought with a lot of gold.
He's still going like DPS though, like with Shyvana and Renekton going quite a lot of DPS. They're kind of lacking one specifically like tank line. Well, in one specific tank.
They're both pretty big, and I think they can afford it at this point. More 80 items would be a mistake. Here comes the Jinx getting Nocturne ulted. Flash in, executing the Jinx
Gragas
with
delete.
Gragas. Comes in the giant Renekton with his damage. He's
Downhill
so
here,
hard to
it's a
take
bomb.
down. Wukong ult. Lucian goes down. Wukong stealths out, but Shyvana's hot on his trail.
I don't know if Lucian just didn't see the Ziggs bomb coming down, but he was attempting to orb walk in the area of effect.
It looks like TCG is on the chase. Everyone else is pretty low. The juke's coming out by Fiddlesticks, but I don't think it'll be enough. Yeah, they're scattered. They're gonna
Ducks
get
seem to get a little
cleaned up
confused
here.
as the direction of their base.
Super Mega Death Rocket missing barely. Gragas may be able to get out, but the nerfs to his body slam when it's not hitting something is slowing him down a little bit.
I mean, at this point, I don't think he'll survive, but he is leading. Okay.
Right
He's
to the
distracted them
Baron
enough
bit.
where they really didn't get much off of that team fight win. Besides possibly a cool buff. They could Baron potentially, though.
Gragas came down in time for all the other people to come up. So I would not be surprised to see some objective control, but it looks like Shyvana and Nami are content with going back. They're just going to clear out the lanes, clear out the jungle, get some items, and regroup.
I think Picture of a Duck has got to work on their fight coordination a little bit better and what they're doing on a follow-up, because that was a great Jinx assassination, and the problem was we just saw two of them go one way and two of them go another and get split and taken apart, similar to what TCGs have been having happen to them. And if they had been clear and concise on what direction their team was going after that and what they wanted to do, I think they could have easily fought a 5v4.
I think TCG is going to go back to sieging. They have a strong siege team, and the Renekton is just in the duel. He's got 2 levels over the Wukong, and he can just continue to split push down at this point.
We see both Lucian and Fiddlesticks in the bot lane. Now they both have to back, and it would really help if Fiddlesticks was here for a fear. They're gonna lose
TCG
main
is
tower.
just going to take it.
Oh,
There comes a Gragas ult, splitting the team up, but the mobility is enough to get the slice and dice out. Jinx is split off from the team. I don't believe they want to fight here. They're going to take the tower and back off.
Picture of a Duck has got to get some Baron ward control going. They currently have 2 wards on the map, but only in their red jungle, and there's no dragon control, there's no Baron control, and that's gonna be their next fight. It kind of looks like they're not buying enough wards, to be quite honest. They're relying on Fiddlesticks wards. It can't keep them up because he can only place 3.
Looks like Renekton slice and dices in, gets a stun down on Fiddles. The Ziggs ult doing lots of damage. Shyvana coming in. Fiddles gets melted down. Same with Nocturne. The Lucian tries his best to kite back, bring the Renekton fairly low, but
that's probably a Baron. Wukong may be able to stop them with the top lane pressure, but that was just a case Wukong did not have teleport up there. He could not come in and have a nice teleport to disengage there.
they're clearing out wards around Baron. I think they're just going to go ahead and go for it, give up that top tower to Wukong. Gragas poke isn't going to be enough to keep him down.
Lucian
Gragas
really
is just
should
going to
not.
push mid lane. He's going to pick up the white camp. Wukong's going back. They're probably going to go ahead and try and defend a push here.
Rocket's top, though.
Gragas uses ult, pretty good disengage there. There's no follow-up.
And now here's the dragon too.
Dragon and bot lane is pushing out very hard in
Yeah.
favor of team.
We see that TCG's
Card gods.
objective control has just been, it's just beaten even the team fighting that Picture of a Duck has been able to bring. Yeah, they've had some pretty bad committals, fights and dives that have not gone in their favor, but they've picked up every dragon. They have the tower pressure, and they had that very early on, and we can just see their objective play is giving them the upper hand despite losing fights. And it's really up to Picture of a Duck right now to wait out this Baron and then really try and get the objective game back in their hands, because they need towers. They need to stop letting TCG take 3 dragons even this late in the game.
You can really tell their global map pressure right now, or objective TCGs. If you look at the gold, Jinx is 1-6, and she has the same amount of gold as Lucian, despite being down 30 farm. Looks like Wukong and Nocturne here got caught out. They're just gonna get taken down. Baron buff, red
This could
buff,
be an
Jinx.
inhibitor. Well, you see Gragas and Lucian pushing bot lane though, so
I
perhaps
don't know
able
if
to
the
trade.
split push is a very good idea right now. Gragas is their wave clear, and generally if you're split pushing, you don't want your wave clear not with you.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
They're gonna trade an outer turret for an inhibitor turret.
Team's turret has been
Looks like Fiddlesticks got caught
Probably
out.
an inhibitor.
He makes it out alive. There goes down the inhibitor.
destroyed.
Team Cypress Gaming is just gonna go ahead and back out.
What? Cypress?
I'm making up. I don't remember what it stands for.
Theorycraft Gaming.
Sure.
Cypress?
Starts with C. They're stacking up in their jungle, but it doesn't look like Picture of a Duck is gonna go ahead and wander in that side. They're just gonna try and find gold where they can.
Yeah, I don't know. They're really trying to do these desperate objective trades that are not trading well. Looks like they're trying to bait Picture of a Duck down to their red jungle because Renekton is pushing, and they might try and just pull a Fanatic Brush.
It looks like
Lucian may walk straight.
Nocturne
into them.
is
Here
going
it is.
out. They
Lucian's
do
gonna
have
walk
it
straight
worded.
into them.
Lucian gets caught out, is melted. The Ziggs ult hitting nothing. He died way too quickly. Red buff Jinx is going to be able to burn down that Nocturne. No chance of escape. Wukong splitting top with Nami going to go ahead and stop him.
That was a very good play by TCG. They knew they can just have someone split and wait it out with Baron, and with complete ward control, it's just bound to happen if it works for Fnatic.
They're going to lose a second inhibitor here. I really think that they needed to go ahead and be patient and fight at this inhibitor tower and make something happen. Looks like they're just going to go ahead and end.
The slow chokehold from the objective pressure has really put Picture of a Duck in a rough spot, and
The
they have been
GG's
very
coming out.
patient. There we go. Well, much closer game. Very good play from Picture of a Duck. Much better than the first game. I think they slowly lost from losing the Vision War. They were actually up in early, but the team just wasn't helping Fiddle out enough to keep that up. And they just lost objective control. I mean, every single dragon was uncontested for TCG. Baron went uncontested because players got caught out. I don't think there was enough jungle pressure in the correct places early game from Nocturne. We can see their scores reflect somewhat, but Nocturne wasn't nearly as big as Shyvana, was incredibly down in farm, and he wasn't, his ganks were walking into lane either possibly without informing his teammate, or just when the teammate couldn't lane or couldn't fight, and attempting to get 1v1 damage off, which after about level 4 or 5 he was losing every single trade he did. So all he was doing was just putting himself farther behind because he'd have to back and he couldn't jungle because he lost a trade in a 1v1 against a laner. And really, I think with Largo Shock's vision control in the bot lane and how strong they were at level 6 with the fear just being able to probably wipe Nami, there needed to be ganks bot. There just needed to be a focused bot lane. Because Shyvana was also coming there, and there was only one time where a counter gank came in from Nocturne that was successful. Most of the time, that ended up getting turned around by Gragas eventually roaming down, deciding against pushing, or a Wukong teleport, which those teleports were spot on. Those saved them in quite a few fights. So that was a good credit to Slykear's Wukong coming out and simply just turning these dives into terror events for TCG.
I saw a lot of, especially that early game with the Nocturne plays, really TCG sitting there and playing very patient and waiting for the other two to make a mistake. And the Nocturne, he's like, I gotta go make this trade. And that's what it looked like to me. It looked like forced engagements on a disciplined, patient team Theorycraft gaming.
I'll lose the client. Don't let me do it.
But overall, a pretty good-looking series. Picture Duck showing up a little better for the second game.
I think Lucian just needed some gank pressure. He needed help going. Like, he was very strong throughout the game. Like, even with the 6 deaths, I mean, that got bigger when they started losing. But Jinx was just really far behind the most games. She really got picked on and died quite a bit. And Lucian had maintained farm with her. He was still up on farm with her at the end of the game. She really only beat him out because of the dragons and Baron. And he was doing a ton of damage, and he just really could have been spun out of control if bot had been focused. It was obviously struggling in lane. It was suffering from these bad dives, and I think Nocturne could have just... Like, top and mid didn't really need his help. They never made ganks that got a kill. It was just Nocturne awkwardly walking in the lane. They were doing fine farming, and he could have just farmed his jungle and can't bot. And farmed his jungle and can't bot. And taken towers. Nocturne can push a wave pretty fast with his Q. They could take tower. But the jungler was just choosing to make these very awkward 1v1 trades that maybe he's just not used to his new role, and that'll come in time, and there wasn't enough coordination with the team. But I think for now, Picture Duck needs to work on their objective focus and help their support ward and get their jungler coordinated with the team. Because maybe it was just that he literally had no idea what to do. And so he was just walking around. But they really had that game. They had those fights for a long time until they misplayed a 5v4, which was unfortunate because they deleted that Jinx and then split up and let themselves get picked off.
Yeah. That was a pretty good games played by both teams, but ultimately TCG played a smarter, safer game. And that brings TCG to undefeated, 8-0, tied with NOS
A similar
Brigade.
team in Green League that I think they'll have to play next week. Do you know what team that is?
It's my team, NOS Brigade. We play versus TCG next week for an epic, super hype first place deciding showdown.
Yeah, that is the deciding match of who your placements for playoffs. You excited? You worried? You scared?
I
Or
am
just completely
prepared.
confident.
I'm prepared. I know Targon nerfs are coming in soon, and
Monday.
I'm ready for that. And we got some good strategies planned out, and we're gonna make it some really good games.
Everyone, I mean, I'll be announcing it later, but any captains watching, any players watching, no, we are not forcing you to play Thanksgiving weekend. We know that people will be traveling. It's a holiday, and it'd be pretty hard for you to try and schedule outside of it because that leaves you 3 days to play. So the next games will be there will be a 2-week period that you can schedule it. You can schedule it this week if you can do it, or you can schedule it next week in week 10, dead week. Whatever you prefer. I know obviously neither of those weeks are preferential, but at least hopefully the 2 weeks can allow you some time to do that. Also, and then obviously, if we were to keep up the schedule, playoffs would be in finals week, and that is obviously not going to happen. Don't worry, guys. You are not going to hold the tournament during finals week. Playoffs will be set up sometime during winter break. Unfortunately, I'll talk to the captains who make playoffs and see what they think. But we are just going to have to declare like a tournament day or two, and everyone's going to have to try and make that, because it's probably going to be pretty hard for us to ask, 40 different people, exactly when you can make it. So look for that probably a week or two into winter break.
I do have one question.
Yep.
There's a situation, I know at least in Yellow League, where two teams can both be, 9-1?
Yeah. So
How are you deciding that
there's a potential for
tiebreaker?
Carbonic and Ex Machina. If they go 2-0 in their next games, they will tie for that league. If in that case, that those teams will play a quick best of one to determine their placement in the bracket.
Okay. I was unaware as to how the tiebreakers was working. I was pulling for an ARAM. It appears that is not happening.
No, it will not be an ARAM. It will just be a best of one. Summoner's Rift.
The chat is calling for an all for one, so I don't...
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
well,
it's been my pleasure.